This is the Cash Value Solutions Podcast, where your hosts, Jason Pohlmeyer and Kyle Manns, shed light on little-known money truths to help you take control of your financial future and become your own banker. Subscribe, rate, and review the show, and check us out at cashvaluesolutions.com.
All right, today, guys, we're going to be taking a break from the Becoming Your Own Banker book review, and we want to talk about why Kyle and I believe that you should practice the infinite banking concept. Do you want to get us started, Kyle?
Yeah, so to start off with, we usually ask people, or this is a question you should ask yourself, is what position are you in financially?
Yeah, are you guys happy with your financial position? Do you want to improve something in it?
Do you have control, or does somebody else have control of your money?
Right. Is there something else outside of whether you're doing a qualified plan or some type of stock investing or real estate investing? Do you have another financial system? Do you have a financial foundation that you're working from?
Yeah, and also ask yourself, are you limiting your tax consequences in the future?
Right. And we're not talking about a tax scheme here. We're just talking about how life insurance works. It's just because of how life insurance is treated, right? It is a replacement for a loss in your life.
Just like any other type of insurance. Like if you wreck your car, you total your car and you get a check for that, you don't get taxed on that.
Exactly. And so that's how the life insurance vehicle is. But there's cash value associated with it. And it turns out that it works really good to perform the banking function in your life. And by the way, banking is going to be performed in your life, whether you do it or not. So why not control it and profit from it?
Exactly. Another thing you should ask yourself is, can you use your money without interrupting the growth?
Right. Is there many financial assets out there that allow you to do that? Or at least allow you to do that with contractual guarantees?
Not that I know of.
Right. I mean, Kyle and I vetted a lot of financial systems, and this was the one we landed on that allows you to perform the banking function without interrupting the compound growth. And that was safe and had a proven track record. But to get back to the not interrupting the compound growth, compound interest takes time to work. And every year we get older, there's less time for compound interest to work. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only thing that's going to help you create wealth, but it is certainly something that is not going to hurt you. And this asset allows you to never interrupt that compound curve.
Yeah, and so our mission here is to help you realize your full potential and to implement financial strategies that create and build long-term wealth. Our goal is to not just sit here and sell you life insurance. We want to help you build your wealth.
Yeah, and this, all that stuff revolves around the infinite banking concept. A lot of people say, well, you don't use permanent life insurance because you're mixing your insurance and your investments together. Well, no, you aren't, and we don't believe you should do that. But we do believe that your insurance and your investments can work together, and that's exactly what's happening with the infinite banking concept. We aren't mixing investments because life insurance is not an investment. And anybody that tells you it is does not understand what life insurance is.
No, the better way to look at the infinite banking concept is that it's a cash flow management system.
Yeah. Don't you guys all need to build up capital if you're going to go out and do some type of investing, or if you're going to invest in yourself with education or by going to seminars, whether that's reading. There's just a multitude of things that you guys can do, whether you go and work for somebody and maybe you do it on an unpaid basis because the lessons that you learn on the job are worth that much. I mean, there's just an unbelievable amount of ways that you can better yourself and prepare yourself for a career where you may do investing or start a business or anything like that.
Yeah, and the infinite banking concept helps us recapture lost opportunity costs. So whether you're paying for your items in cash or you are borrowing from a bank, you're either paying interest or you're losing the opportunity to earn interest. And so this concept allows us to recapture that interest. And that can be confusing for people, and we'll go deeper into that in other podcasts or in our blogs, but just know that we were able to recapture that opportunity cost.
And something that Nelson writes in his book, I don't have it in front of me, but the just so you get the idea of what he's saying is, a lot of people hear that and they understand, yeah, that makes sense that I'm either earning interest, when my money is sitting in the bank. Well, it's not earning very much there, but they understand the fact that if you pay cash, you can't earn interest, or you're paying interest to a financial institution. But they don't abide by those rules. It's like, and this is getting back to what Nelson said, it's like the law of gravity doesn't apply to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
It applies to everybody but me.
Yeah.
That it's simply,
and we've all been guilty of that before. So.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so let's make that clear. We're not perfect, and we're learning along the way, and we're trying to help accelerate that process for you guys with all the research and time that we've put into learning about the infinite banking concept.
Yeah, and well, why whole life insurance? Well, it just happens to be the best product to implement the concept with. Because of the contractual guarantees that we have and the mutual insurance companies that we use that have been around for over 150 years, they have been through the Great Depression, they've been through the Spanish flu, they've been through wars, they've remained profitable throughout the whole times. Been one of the safest industries out there.
Yeah, I mean, how many wars are we talking here? I mean, I can think of a couple world wars, the Vietnam War, the Korean War. I mean, it's unbelievable the type of economic situations or stresses that these companies have been through, and they remain profitable through that whole time. And why does that matter to you guys? If you're building your financial foundation, you want to have a rock solid base that will work without requiring a lot of your time to make it work. Okay. Mm-hmm. This system provides that.
Yeah, you don't have to be an expert in life insurance to make this work. I mean, that's why we're here to help coach you along the way.
Yeah, and just because you don't need to be an expert, though, that doesn't mean that you can't not know about it, right? You have to educate yourself to some extent about it, because if you don't understand how it works, there's a higher probability that you're probably going to lapse your policy and not understand it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, not having a full understanding can lead you down a road of, in a few years, wondering why you're doing something.
Yeah, especially if you talk about this to other people who don't know anything about the infinite banking concept, and the only thing they know about whole life insurance is that it's horrible, it's a bad place to put money, you should never do it.
Yeah, what did the financial talking heads say? Don't buy whole life insurance. Buy term, invest the rest.
Yeah.
But they simply are looking at it as an investment, and that's not what the infinite banking concept is.
No, it's just like what Nelson, his title of his second book that he wrote, Warehouse of Wealth.
Building your warehouse of wealth, yeah.
It is the perfect place to warehouse money. And Robert Kiyosaki always calls savers losers. Well, he says that because if you have your money sitting in a bank account, a checking account, where you're hardly learning any interest, you are losing purchasing power every day to inflation. So why not put that in a place where your money actually grows for you and that you can still use it to invest in other opportunities?
Speaking of inflation, I just received my $1,200 check in the mail. That is what inflation is. It's an increase in the money supply, guys. The U.S. Treasury does not have that money that they just pulled out of the coffers to give to us. That was digits added to a column on a computer is all that was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's talking about, savers or losers.
Yeah, so ultimately we need to just rethink what whole life insurance is, rethink our thinking on this. And we're not focusing on death benefit exclusively. The death benefit is important, but our main focus is cash value accumulation.
Yeah, what is everybody need. They need the ability to finance in their life. That's a lot bigger need than death benefit is.
Yeah, and whole life insurance gets a bad rep because most people think the agents are just in it to get the big commission. Well, the way that we structure the policies and what we're after, that reduces our commissions by what would you say?
I mean, over 50% in every case, and more than that usually.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Kyle's saying, like, there's value to you in starting this policy. There's value to the insurance company in starting this policy. And there's value to us being your agents. I mean, it's beneficial to everybody in the situation.
This is not a win-lose situation. And that's another thing that we get ingrained in our heads at a young age is that, everything's either a win-lose situation.
There's winners and losers.
Yeah, this is absolutely a win-win-win situation.
Yeah, I think it's misunderstood that in value creation that somebody has to, be getting the upper hand for somebody else to be doing business. Well, that's absolutely not what is going on here. I'm not saying that doesn't exist anywhere, but that is definitely not what is going on here. And I think that was another thing that Kyle and I found, like, man, like there's people out here really trying to help in Nelson Nash's movement of building the 10% and creating a lot of people who can perform the banking function on their own. And we were thrilled that we were able to contribute to that. And this podcast, this is one of our first steps in trying to do that.
Yeah. I mean, one of our biggest goals is to teach this concept to people and ultimately help them achieve financial independence or whatever financial goal it is that they have.
Definitely. And just for some assurance or insight for you guys, did you know that banks purchase a lot of life insurance? It isn't whole life insurance typically. It's still permanent life insurance, but they have over $400 billion coming to them in death benefit proceeds in the coming decades.
It's quite a bit.
They are pouring money into high cash value permanent life insurance. And I'm pretty sure that they would vet that system before they ever spend that kind of money on life insurance.
Yeah, if it's such a bad place to put money, why would they do it?
Yeah, I just thought that was a good little teaser to try and perk people up and help them to want to get that drive to look into this concept. But anything else you want to add, Kyle?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap up, Albert Einstein is credited with saying doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity. So have you been doing the same thing year after year and expecting different results? I mean, if so, check this out, look into it and see if this is something that could help you.
Pick up a copy of Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. It is the best place to start. The second best thing you can do is after you read that book, get a hold of Nelson's seminar on DVD. It costs about $200, but it is well worth it for your insight and knowledge. And I'm not saying it's like meeting Nelson, but you get a good feel for the type of man that Nelson is, and honest, wanting to help people out with this system.
Absolutely. And also check out our blogs. We've wrote quite a few blogs. Check out our podcast and shoot us an email or give us a call.
Yeah, well said, Kyle. And with that, that's everything that I've got to say. So how about you?
Yeah, I think we got it covered.
Okay. Guys, we really appreciate you listening, and we'll be returning back to our book review here in the next episode. So thanks for tuning in, and we just wanted to take a little detour here and let you in on some insight of why we're passionate about the infinite banking concept and why you need to practice becoming your own banker.
This was the Cash Value Solutions Podcast. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show. Check us out at cashvaluesolutions.com. And don't forget to tune in next week.